It was Yun's bracelet which he had worn on the day when he was going to become his, but fate had written something else. The day which was going to be their life's most beautiful day became Yun's dead day and one of the worst days in his life. That day he realized one thing, that whenever he was going to be happy, his life gives him the reality check that he cannot be happy. That day he again got defeated by his destiny. He remembered how he tried to save Yon but could not. Kim Taeyong again experienced the loss of close one. Kim Taeyong once again was feeling the helplessness which he had felt when his own family, whom he loves the most in the world, was in the mouth of death and he was not able to save them. Time. I could not save him also, he said in his mind, and thoughts went towards how Kim Tang had become helpless to save his love's life. Flashback. Tai reached hospital and entered the building, pushing the skater on which Yon was lying, covered with not in his senses. When nurse told Tai that there is chance of his survival and his heart is beating, Tai got the hope that maybe Yon will come back to him all fit and fine. Tai, doctor, he shouted, calling Doctor or boy who was also pushing his skater with. Tai looked at him with sympathy and ran towards the doctor's cabin, called him immediately. Doctor came towards them talking to the old boy and stopped in front of the yawn. Doctor, oh, this is looking like accident case, he said, seeing Yun's condition. Tai, yes, doctor, a truck hit very badly. I told him in haste, breathing fast as he had got exhausted with pushing the stretcher in haste. Doctor, I'm sorry, but I cannot treat him like this. First, you have to inform police. It's a policy of our hospital, he said to Tai, who was fuming, looking at him with anger. Hearing his so-called rules of the hospital, Tai held his collar angrily. He was very furious at him for treating his patient like this. Tai, are you mad or what? Cannot you see his condition? He is fighting between the dead and life, and you are thinking about your so-called rules? Go and treat him. And if you do not know who I am, then let me tell you. I am Kim Taeyong, who can make your life hell in this minute only, he said to him with full-on attitude but intention. The doctor was shocked by his revelation, rushed towards Yun when Tai left his hold from his collars. He was shivering with fear of time. He took one to ICU for his treatment. At that time, Tai was not that much successful in business, which he is now. That time he was emerging businessman who was in his journey to become a successful businessman. Tai sat down on the bench with the third, not looking at something particular. Now he was in ICU. Doctor were operating him. Yoongi was waiting for them in the church. Swiss lawyers came running to the hospital. when he got to know about the accident. Yoongi, Tae, Tae, Yoongi called him with tears streaming down from his eyes when he saw Tae's condition. He was very worried for Tae. He was the only person who was with him. He was the only person who was with him when his family went away, leaving him alone. He was very much broken that time. Now, as Yoon also is in condition that he can die, Yoongi can understand how Tae could be feeling. Yoongi, Tae, do not worry, nothing will happen to him. He hugged Tae, blavering this in his arms, but Tae didn't respond to his hug. Tae was in trauma. His mind was still not in the condition to accept what happened. There was a bracelet in his hand, which came to him when he was holding Hyun's hand. He was staring at the bracelet. All the past bitter memories of his dead parents were coming in his mind. He was feeling like running away from this life where he cannot have someone with whom he can be happy. He was happy with his family when his brother came back from hostel after a long time, and then something happened and they went far away. Slowly Tae started realize what happened some time ago and hugged Yoongi tightly. Yoongi sighed with relief seeing him responding. Tae thought how he was going to marry his love, but now he is here in the hospital, the place he hated. Tae, why my life is like this? Young, first my parents left me, then my brother and my Yoon, he said to Yoongi, shoving, breaking the hug. Yoongi, Tae, please compose yourself. He will be alright. He consoled Tae. Doctor came out of the ICU and Tae and Yoongi rushed to him with the hope that he will be alright. But doctor broke all their hopes by saying truth. Doctor, I am sorry. His injuries were deep, so we could not save him. Hearing that Yoon is no more, Tai fell on the floor on his knees, tears rolling down from his. Yoongi was also weeping hearing this, but he wiped his tears seeing Tai's condition. He sat down on his knees in front of Tai, holding his shoulder. He made him stand up, but Tai didn't look at him. Yoongi, he is calling you. He last time wants to talk to you. He has only few minutes, he said to Tai, who was standing with the support of Yoongi. Without any emotion his face. Yoongi, Tai, go meet him, he said to Tai, turning him towards the door. Tai was not responding, so Yoongi shook him by his shoulders and said, Yoongi, Tai, go and meet him for the last time. Tai came to his senses and looked at Yoongi with the emotion that he cannot go, but Yoongi made him go inside. Yoon was lying on the bed with his head and hands dressed with the bandage, the breathing equipment put on his nose, seeing Tai, the nurses with Yoon went out, leaving them alone. Yun saw Tai coming with his half-open eyes. He took equipment off from his nose with his shaking hand. Tai was just staring at him with pain. Yun, Tai, he called him with difficulty. Tai was just staring at him with pain. Yun, Tai, he called him with difficulty. Tai's leg automatically went towards him. Tai sat beside him on the stool with the third, as he had fallen weak by seeing Yun covered in bandages. Yun, Tai, I am sorry, he said with difficulty. Look at him, tears coming out from his eyes. Tai didn't respond. He was just staring at him with pain. He was that much lost in his pain that he didn't even realize that Hyun is counting his last second. Suddenly he started feeling problem in breathing. Hyun, Tai, he called him with breathing heavily. Seeing him like this, Tai came to his senses. He called the doctor loudly, and doctor came and tried to stable his condition. Tai, please, Yun, you cannot go away, Tai said to him, caressing his hairs when doctors were trying to treat him. Yoongi also came with doctors when Tai called doctor loudly. He was standing with Tai. He said as he already know that Hyun is not going to survive. Doctor clearly told this to him and Tai also, but Tai ignored it when he saw Hyun conscious. Tai, I'm sorry, my brother. Please take care of him. He he said, holding Ty's hand, lifting himself. Little Elephant suddenly fell on the bed. Without his hand leaving Ty's, his breathing stopped and a straight line came to machine and continuous sound from it. Doctor shook his head in denial. Doctor, I told you he won't survive. Winter, Tai Yon, he shouted loudly and faint. Tai held him. He gained consciousness after a day. He was in hospital. Yoongi was sitting on the sofa beside his bed. Yoongi, what happened? Why am I here? He asked Yoongi as he was not able to remember anything. Yoongi looked at him with concern. Suddenly, I remembered everything. He again went to his silent mode. Yoongi, Tai, please say something. He tried to make him talk. Tai, Young, why this always happen to me? Why? He asked with anger. Yoongi hugged him and both consoled each other. Then he got to know that all the last results of Yon has already done. His brother had came, and the orphanage where he stayed all his childhood, the people from there performed his last rituals. I tried to go back to his life after that as Yoongi wanted him to come back to normal. Tai's life, which was filled with darkness, before now became full of dark, as Tai was slowly becoming hopeless to live his life fully. He started to be alone on the time. He didn't like anyone's company. That time his business was also in loss as he had become all the weak. This incident somewhat triggered the of his family. He again went to the time of his family's loss. Yoongi tried to make him come out of his pain, but this time it seems difficult to him.